Well, this isn't going to go over very well with certain parts of animation fandom. Toei Animation, the studio responsible for Dragon Ball and One Piece, is going to be using more AI.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, golly gee. Who could have imagined?
They're all using AI already. You just weren't aware of it.
We're going to talk about that. Yes, we're going to talk about that because I've actually had some people connected to the industries come because I did a video yesterday talking about AI. I actually had a couple people come to me and say, hey, I know for a fact in Hollywood they are using AI right now. They're just not saying anything about it because they want it to be safe. So when it's safe, they'll be like, oh, by the way, we've been doing it for like 3 years and we just never told you guys. We never told you. But this is throwing animation Twitter into a tizzy because they're like, how very dare you? How could you? We told you so. It's going to happen. It is going to speed up production. It depends on how it's used, but they're all going to use it to some capacity, guaranteed. And yeah, are jobs going to be lost? Absolutely. Every time there's a major leap in technology, jobs are lost, but also new jobs may be created if these studios can produce more content and they need more people to kind of oversee it. Anyway, we're going to talk about the reaction. Before we get into it any further, this is Kneon. This is Clownfish TV. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And please subscribe to the channel for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So, yeah, I saw this the other day. You were talking about it too. But they said, according to their official site, they plan to use AI in future productions for storyboard creation, coloring, automatic correction of Genga and in-between frames, and generating backgrounds from photos. I think that is an acceptable use. They're not replacing animators per se, but they're getting rid of some of the grunt work.
Yeah, things to streamline it, save time.
But that also gets rid of jobs for some people.
Not necessarily. I mean, depending how you use it, but it might get rid of some of the crunch.
Right. Because if it's like, oh my God, how many backgrounds do I have to paint, or how many? I mean, they're doing it already. Like, you look at, it becomes very noticeable when you watch Retro Crush, and I love Retro Crush. But you look at some of the old anime, and you look at the TLC, and I'm sure there's a lot of those people working in like sweatshop conditions. Like, literally, it's very, very hot over there, and they're in these little studios working on these animations. But you look at the TLC that was put into the backgrounds and the whatever back then, and then you compare it to now. Everything looks very digital. And
but you have to remember too, back then, a lot of times they would just use the same things, like the backgrounds and stuff. That's why they had like transformation sequences or sequences they would just use like over and over and over again to save time and save money.
Yeah, we're going to like 2 minutes of this character transforming, or my favorite, we're just going to kind of pan across the skyline and they're going to talk over it, or we're going to be like, here's a static shot of their bedroom. And they actually made fun of that. I think in Invincible, where all the animation tricks, like, so their mouth isn't moving, you see the characters from behind or whatever, so they don't have to handle all that stuff.
Like they had that. It was like you had that more, everything was hand done, but they would reuse a lot, or like find ways like you're talking about to make it less work. And with AI, they might be able to make sure everything is like, might look more digital, but it'll be more finished and more engaging.
Yeah. But of course, people are going to have a meltdown over it because for some reason people have made the connection between any use of AI, even using AI as a tool, as like they're literally ripping off other people's art. It's like, no, I mean, was there training him? Yeah. Is that sketchy legally? Yeah. But I mean, if these studios are going to use the AI, they're going to train it off of their own stuff. Disney's going to do the same thing.
See, right? I'm just like, I do not want to see people replaced with AI. I can see it used as a tool. I don't think they should be scraping on people's stuff, but then apparently it doesn't matter whether you use AI or not. There's other places, other gaming places and stuff that do that anyway.
They're already doing it. They already admitted to it. And I talked about that yesterday. They're saying the CEO of Level 5 said that 80 to 90% of video games are already using AI tools. They have been for the last couple of years. I think Hollywood, my understanding is Hollywood has also been using them, especially during the strikes. The strikes actually lit a fire under their asses because they're like, yeah, we can't have everybody just call off work anymore. So call in the robots.
What I was saying though is like other places now are just already, because they run out of ideas, they already went and scraped other people's work, and it was people scraping other people's work.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like Disney is. Everybody's like, well, we don't want Disney using AI to lift our stuff. I'm like, Disney's going to lift your stuff regardless.
Like that one artist guy who did the tiki,
the
tiki room, the drummer model,
yeah.
And the other guy, pretty much stole it down to the, every scratch match, everything matched exactly, put his own name on it, and it didn't stop. He didn't use AI, but it didn't stop him from taking it. No. That's what I'm talking about. It's like they've already been taking it. Disney's always taken, popular Etsy designs and, oh, look, here's a new shirt official.
Well, it's not just them. I mean, it's other companies too. They've gotten busted taking fan art designs. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Marathon from Bungie that they lifted. I mean, they didn't even change anything. They just lifted artwork from a freelancer's portfolio, and the art director of Bungie actually followed that freelancer. So it's like, you can't tell me you weren't aware.
Right. So I'm like, if they're worried about that, that's happening already anyway, which is crap. But I mean, you could be inspired by something, but you shouldn't be like just directly copying it. And that's already going on. That's why I'm saying AI as a tool that you use your own stuff to train it, so you're not like stealing other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but and not to replace people. I mean, if you don't, maybe to streamline it, make it a little easier for the people there, so then maybe where they might have taken 12 hours a day, they can get it down to a regular normal day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the conditions overseas in these animation studios are sometimes pretty horrendous. I mean,
they scream about it, and we want those conditions to be better. But they find a way to make it better. Not that way.
Not that way. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if you could take, all those poor overworked Japanese animators, which, they're going on about like they need to unionize, they need to make more money, and they're really underpaid. So instead of working 14 hours a day, you get them down to a 7-8 hour work day with a lunch break, because they can use AI to pick up the slack for,
you know what I'm saying? Get paid a little more because, a couple bucks an hour or whatever more would still be less than having them do all the overtime. You might be able to still get some more money in there too, and get twice as much done in a regular time frame.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, it's never AI, and I've talked about this before. Like, when you're using AI as a tool to help with productivity, it's not replacing artists per se. It's replacing grunt work. It's basically getting rid of the tedious stuff. And eventually, what's going to happen? What is going to be normal? And it's going to happen even with Disney and DreamWorks and all these bigger studios. Is they're going to have a database of all the characters and the backgrounds and the references and the whatever, and they can just pull from it and have the AI just kind of like, hey, we need Ariel, doing this thing. Well, we've got, the Ariel, all of her, renders or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like 3D, but we got like everything on the server somewhere. Hey, AI, hey, Walt, whatever they're going to call it. Go in, grab, it would be W.A.A. or L, I'm sorry. Yeah, put an AI in there. LT, Walt the computer. Hey, go in and make Ariel do this thing for this commercial for the hotel or whatever. And they'll be able to, and also keep everything consistent too.
Let's be honest, it should be called UB.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they kept Ub in the closet working on Mickey Mouse while Walt was also working on Oswald. So that was a whole thing. Anyway, let's look at this article. This is coming from comicbook.com. Dragon Ball One Piece Studio reveals AI plans and fans aren't happy. Now, it is being said that the creative director of One Piece, he does not want to use AI. So,
and most artists don't. I mean, let's be honest.
That's the creative director, though. And he can say that, but when it gets into the weeds, right? When they get into the actual production, and they're like, "Hey, we can do the coloring or the in-betweening in like 1/10 of the time with AI. I can't make the justification to go in and use a person or whatever." They'll buckle. He might say, "I'm against it," but that doesn't mean that they're not going to do it.
You're talking to things that are ongoing show types as opposed to just a standalone movie for the most part. I mean, there's standalone movies too, but you know what I mean? I think when you have to get a lot of things turned over fast as possible, and people are demanding things faster. It makes sense to use it in that regard, but I think like films and stuff, I would rather just use regular people to make sure that they're doing, taking longer, but maybe doing a better product.
Well, the animation industry would be so much better if they used regular people and not abnormal people, because the abnormal people cause all kinds of problems for them, right?
I mean, but yes, I guess I walked right into that one. But yeah,
It's so weird because we talked about this before. Like the Japanese animators, the people that actually do the animation, the people that actually do the work, and they get the storyboards from the U.S. and they said specifically they're going to use it for storyboarding. By the way, so good luck with that. But yeah, they said that American storyboarders are very difficult to work with.
oh, shocker.
Yeah, and they don't particularly enjoy it. So they might be able to be like, you know what, we don't even need them, don't need them anymore. But yeah, they work on all the big ones: Sailor Moon, Digimon, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Going back to Transformers, they did the animation for G1 Transformers too.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of those shows in the 80s were animated in Japan.
Yeah, they did a lot of like Western shows, but Transformers in particular, Transformers the movie, which had some of the best anime style animation of any movie in the 80s, was actually done by Toei. So, there you go. But yeah, they said that they're going to use AI to co-develop new business opportunities and improve the efficiency and quality of our productions, capitalizing on synergies between AI and animation production technology. So this is next year they're going to start using it. So I think, yeah, right here. So here is, let's open this up here a little bit, see what we're looking at. So they're going to invest in preferred networks. Okay. A company with cutting edge AI technology with an eye on launching a joint venture. We will seek to co-develop new business opportunities and improve the efficiency. Okay. So this is what they're going to use it for: storyboarding, coloring and color specification, in-betweening. That is actually the best use of it, I think, because that's tedious. Backgrounds.
But unfortunately, it's a lot of people, these jobs sound like there'll be a lot of people out of work.
Yeah, because you're getting rid of background painters. I think they're already kind of doing that, though, because you look at a lot of newer anime and it looks very CGI, or it looks like, oh, that's just a Photoshop with a filter. And how far we've come. A couple of years ago, there was, I forget what the show was, but they were accusing them of using AI for backgrounds, and the backgrounds just looked like a bunch of gobbledygook. It was like a bunch of random plants and like whatever, but that was the world that they lived in. It wasn't consistent. And I'm like, yeah, AI in the last 2 to 3 years has gotten freakishly good. And, using it for
in the last 6 months.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You would be shocked. And this is, I'm talking the consumer grade. Like, you have no idea what Hollywood has, because they get the good stuff. They get the primo industrial strength stuff. So Hollywood animation studios, they're going to get the really, really good stuff, and it's going to be able to do a lot of this. So yeah, you're not going to have people coloring, or I'd say ink and paint, but they don't do that anymore. You're not going to have people painting backgrounds. I think, again, you're going to have 3D characters that will eventually be, you'll have your animation, they'll be rigged already. You just basically just rotoscope them. Just, here, we're going to have an actor do a thing or whatever, and then we're going to put the filter on with AI, and there's our Pixar character. So there we go. How many jobs?
Yeah.
So this is why they're all fighting so hard to keep them. And I get it. I mean, it literally is survival, but the studios have to survive too, and they're not going to be able to survive if they're not making any profit, right? So yeah, they're saying One Piece, no, but yeah, people are not happy about it. I don't know what to tell you, right? I mean, I'm just at the point where I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. All that hoopla over.
It's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what. And the thing is it's already being used. You just don't know about it. So
depends on the studio. I think some studios are going to be emphatically against it for now, until they get, if they fall behind, then they might not have a choice.
Yeah, what I'm waiting to see happen, again, talking about, outsourced animation, is Hollywood studios sending the stuff overseas, and then they'll get busted like, oh my God, there's extensive use of AI in this animated series. And then producers in America will just be like, we had no idea.
Probably.
We just outsourced it. And well, somehow it wound up in China and then in North Korea, and they were using AI. I know, just, you know what? Not our problem.
I think you're going to see it more, like I said, used for like shows and things, when people are waiting for like long times between seasons, and they're trying to speed that up. I think you're going to see it used there more than like in movies.
Yeah, I think so. I think I mean, movies though is getting freakishly good, but I think anything that's high demand, quick turnaround,
faster turnover. Yeah.
Right. This person, this is what you said, Dakota here. The funny part is y'all would rather have animators slave away trying to make good animation instead of using tools that can drastically reduce their workload.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, because that's what all I am hearing.
Yeah, and manga artists and anime artists notoriously are not that healthy. Their lifestyles are not good. They're hunched over a desk, 14, 16 hours a day. I've seen the schedule. I mean, Oda's a workaholic on One Piece. He's a workaholic anyway, but like I've seen the schedules of mangaka, and it's really bad. Like, I mean, there's like no life. 7 days a week, 14 hours a day.
What's that like?
Hunched over a table, right? Yeah, we have multiple businesses, so it's basically that way for us too. But I'm saying, like, yeah, they'd rather see these people, die of a heart attack at 52 years old or something than be able to have a normal day and a life and a whatever. I mean, that's the upside of it. But I guess you have to figure out, like, where do you draw the line? Like, do you use it as a tool to help people make things, or you just realize, like, well, we don't need people at all. We'll just fire up the anime bot and let it go. I don't know. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
There we go. So next video, I'm not going to be on it. Geeky's going to use AI to replace me.
That's right.
Yeah. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.